problem was that the fact that he's kind of a monster, right? Because he's messed up and he has these like weird desires and urges, and he wants to hurt her. He likes to hurt her, but you know he wants her to agree to it, so that makes him caring. It makes her grateful for things that an ordinary woman would just expect for herself. You know, like for him to want to stay with her, for him to want to like just actually sleep next to her. These are things that a woman should expect her man to want to do if he likes her.
Right.
And for her, like when he gets, it's like diamonds, like, oh,
Yeah.
3 times. I'm like, bitch, aim higher. Oh my God.
Oh, 50. Oh, my 50.
Oh, my 50.
Like you know what, though? It's like that when people tell you who they are, believe them. He told her in the very beginning, I am 50 shades of fucked up.
Yeah.
And I am not happy.
I'm going to change him. He's not
I'm
really.
not happy that a character named Mrs. Robinson is the one that made him that way. Because I'm not happy with that.
And that's, I mean, you know, I know we said we wouldn't discuss the other books, but I will tell you that's part of why I want to keep reading, because I want to meet Mrs. Robinson. Well, you guys can.
She's like trying to read their facial expression.
I mean, you're going to wait a long time for payoff. Not if Christian's sleeping with you, but if you're reading these books, you're going to wait a long time for payoff.
I told you, if you read the other 2 books, you got to skim. You just got to be in skim mode.
I didn't. I wish I had.
I'm going through my notes here. I have all the big words highlighted.
Say something.
And you know, listen, I'm almost afraid to say what they were because I don't want you bitches to be like, oh, that means blah, blah, blah. I use it all the time.
There were so many, like the word mercurial.
Oh,
Yeah.
mercurial. Yeah.
I know what the medulla oblongata is, but who the fuck says that?
Nobody.
Nobody. Profligate. I don't even know what profligate.
I said profligate. Yeah, profligate. Oh, my God.
And envisaged, this is not how I envisaged this happening. I have never used that word.
Right. Because you are not Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory.
Right. And what was the other one? Taciturn.
Taciturn. Yeah, that's a good one.
That was another one.
Although, you know what? I have used that one.
Yeah, I have used that one. That one's
I don't think most people do.
Yeah.
I don't think she does. I know Anna Steele
I
doesn't
use it to describe my husband.
But the way she worded everything using those words, it was like she went, oh, I can't use that word again. Get the thesaurus out.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
And
like
just
she peppered in.
sprinkled them in.
Yeah, but she used riotous, like, I mean, she used riotous all the time.
I think, you know what it felt like? It felt like somebody who maybe isn't very confident in their writing ability. And so, like you said, like they probably wrote what I call making it pretty. Like the way I write, I just write, right? And then you go back to make it pretty. You start reading and you're like, oh man, I can't believe I used this word 2 times in 1 paragraph. You know what I mean? Like, because you just kind of write like you think, then you go back and make it pretty. So it feels like to me, her make it pretty run through was getting the thesaurus going.
No, it is. And most writing guides will tell you that because the unconfident writer, their characters never say anything.
Right.
You know, they enthuse. They, you know, they do all these other things, but they never say anything. And they say when you get your when you get your writing confidence, it's when you don't feel the need to add all that stuff. And I think you're right. I think it was a confidence thing for sure.
I want to know, honestly, I really wish we had found somebody who was in this lifestyle who was willing to talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
Because I really want to know, it seemed to me, there has to be people who are doing this who are not damaged. Who,
Right.
or, you know, like, are we saying that? Right. Are we saying that because you want to, you want to be submissive in a sexual relationship or because you want to be dominant in a sexual relationship that there's something wrong with you? Do we believe that? Or
what's the difference between a personality trait and a personality disorder, right? You know, some people have a personality trait that they like to be in charge, they like to be in control, they have a type A personality, and then when does it become a disorder where they can't not be in control? And I'd be interested to talk to somebody in the community about that too.
Now, I'm looking at, this is the Suicide Girls blog, and they're talking about how the BDSM community feels about the portrayal of their lifestyle in this book, and they say that the problem they had with James's portrayal of the lifestyle is that it's evidence for how dark he is, right? But and I don't think they necessarily see that as something that's like they may not be doing it because they're messed up, like you were saying. And one woman says it wants us to think of Christian's BDSM as something that's wrong with him, like a symptom of his, messed up childhood, but it wants us to like get off on it.
Right, and that's why that's why I was really careful to try to phrase it, because I don't believe anything is so black and white, right? Like, look at there, 50 Shades of Grey. Seriously, I don't believe anything is so black and white. I don't believe that everybody who's in that lifestyle was turned out by some, middle-aged woman when they were 16, or were, brutally beaten by their crackhead mom when they were 6. Like, there has to be people who just, that's what gets them off. And, is it really, our business, And that's why there's a contract, I think, because it's all above board.
I want to say that when it was presented to me, the person who was presenting it, I asked them that question. I said, were you molested? Is this like something? He goes, and he said, no, I had a really great childhood, typical, my parents are still married, and, he was very, I don't know, I guess I'll just use the word normal, as normal as anybody else. And he had a great job, and, but this was his thing.
It does seem to me, like, if this is your, like, sexual lifestyle, you got to make some good money, right?
That's a lot of equipment that you need.
You need a lot of equipment, and you need to keep your submissive, if that's the way it normally, truly works with the contract, you got to be able to afford to send her ass to the gym.
Sure.
The one thing I did like in the book was that they did ask, how does this stuff get cleaned? Because I was kind of, I hate to say it, but I was kind of wondering, like...
Wait, what stuff? What are you talking about?
The tools of the trade.
The implements.
The implements.
She
just casually asked, like, she seems to wonder, and he knows what, because he
like,
obviously...
How do you, like, the Benoit balls and the dildos, who cleans them off? Is that what
Yeah. And they actually did mention, and he tells her that they...
His manservant?
No, it's actually he expects the submissives to clean.
Ew.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that. I'm like, I don't clean my house. I'm not going to clean your dildo collection.
That must be in book 2, because I really don't remember that.
Yeah, I don't remember that either.
That must be in book 2.
But,
Barbara.
Clean this shit.
Sorry.
Spoiler. The missus have to clean the dildos.
Now you know.
Okay, Robert has another question.
By the way.
Robert wants to know, were you guys rooting for her, good question, to stay with him or to leave him?
Leave. Sorry.
Yes. At the end of the book, I mean, we're spoiling the book, right? Because we've read it. When she leaves, I was like, that's it. End. The end.
Mm-hmm. Well, it must be me, because I was rooting for him to leave her.
Oh! Yeah, you know what?
She's such a dipshit.
Barbara, I liked him more than I liked her.
I liked him. I did not like her.
And I'm going to tell you when I liked him, when I knew, and like I said, I was sitting there like, ooh, I thought he was going to be like some dirty old white dude who likes to spank and stuff, and I was like, I'm not really, going to be into this. But I liked him when they went out, he took her out for tea that first time, and he held her hand when they were walking through the streets. I liked him when he held her hair back when she puked. I liked him when they were in the elevator, and he said there's something about elevators, and I thought, oh, yeah, there is. Like, he was, I felt him. I was like, he's sexy. I didn't expect to like him as much as I did.
I think this is a gender thing, because when my husband read it, he was like, I don't get why you hate her so much, but, I hate him. Like, he's the one, and I think as a man, and, as like a decent man, he's like, why the fuck do women like dudes like this?
Right.
Like, that's what's wrong with the world. That this is what women crave.
And right back at you, because we're wondering, like, why would any guy like this two-dimensional, vapid, I'll do anything you say, da-da-da kind of idiot?
See, I don't think
she's not that vapid. She reads books.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Right, and she's a virgin. She's a virgin not because she's unattractive, but because she would prefer to curl up with a good book every night.
Right, because she doesn't masturbate.
I know. Okay, that was the other thing. I was like, what?
Not only does she not do it, but then in the contract she's forbidden to do it. So it's like, don't take responsibility for your own orgasm.
Yeah. He only wanted her doing that when they were together.
Yeah,
I don't do it anyway, so it doesn't matter.
That's just such a weird thing to idealize. It would be like for the rest of your life walking around hoping other people would feed you.
Well, but that would be a true submissive, right?
Or a retard.
Because
when you were saying that your husband was like, why do women like just a guy like this? Like, why is he? That was my issue. Like I said, I wondered, it seemed like she went out of her way for you to think that he was great. Like, he was like, even his faults weren't his fault. Like, his
That's what women do. You make excuses for the scary monster guy who, is mind fucking you. That's sleeping with the enemy. That's like.
But see, the difference I think is in sleeping with the enemy, you knew he was like, he did not love her. He was like no good. Like, he was like, he was an asshole. This guy is an asshole because he's damaged. But she was putting in just enough for you to see that he loves her. Like, you're rooting for him to overcome his assholishness so that he can realize he loves her and he doesn't have to, like, worry about what she eats and all this stuff. Just let her be, and she loves you and you love her. Like, I felt like she was trying to make him, like, his issues weren't his fault.
But why does he love her?
Why does what?
Why does he love her? She has no personality.
That's
because
why.
she bites her lip, Barbara. Pay attention.
That'd do it.
Honestly, like, to any teenage girls who are watching, if a monster loves you, he's still a monster.
Right.
That's the bottom line. Like, and if his issues aren't his fault, they're still his issues.
Okay, I take issue with that. Nenea, do you really think he's a monster? Like, he's not beating her. He's beating her in his sexual...
I highlighted the phrase where I decided that he was fucked up.
Okay.
He says, I don't want to change you. I just want you to be courteous. This is the kind of thing, like, he's like, when he wants to, like, spank her for rolling her eyes, that is really, it seems like a very innocuous thing. That is monstrous. That's somebody.
Okay. See, I guess I took that completely differently, because I've been with guys who are not monsters, but you have like that little thing, like.
Any of them spank you for rolling your eyes?
No, but you will have a thing where, here we go into personal sharing. But the way I viewed that as.
It's 2 o'clock.
Sorry. I view that as when you have a thing, like, in your relationship, right? Like, even like my husband and I have, where I will kind of be sassy on purpose, because I know, he'll be like, woman, don't make me come up. It's like foreplay. It's like, I didn't take that seriously. Like, it was kind of like, and I think the reason maybe you took it seriously, or people would take it seriously, is because this is also a BDSM story. So when he says, I'm going to put you over my knee, you really know he's going to put it over his knee.
Yeah.
I've been in relationships where you do stuff and it's just like, you do those things on purpose, like the thing with the panties, and it's just all this, like,
play.
Foreplay, where it's like, when we get home, you're going to pay for that, and
like she bites her lip on purpose eventually, and she rolls her eyes on purpose eventually to engage him.
Right, because you know that he's really not, he's really not sitting there saying, don't ever roll your eyes, and if you do it again, I'm going to kick your ass, and when we get home, I didn't take it to be that kind of controlling. That's part of his kink, his sexual thing, and I don't know. I didn't think he was a monster.
I do. I think he's a monster.
I have not convinced
some women like monsters.
You gotta read the other 2 books, because it'll be a little different. But I understand if you don't want to read
book, he is a monster to me.